Hello, hi everyone. My name is Tariq Mohammadi and welcome to the part 3 of 8 PSA Afghanistan Female Global Leadership Summit. In this part, we are introducing 4 speakers. These speakers from countries that I was not imagining that we could ever have a speaker from. For example, our first speaker is from Peru. She is going to talk about how we can stay relevant in the time of change. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to the Monse Lorente from Peru.
Salam, my name is Monse Lorente and I'm a career coach and employability consultant, and I work with professionals from all over the world. My purpose is to empower them to be the best version of themselves, so together we can change our world. So as you see, empowerment is very connected to my purpose, to what I do in a daily basis. So no surprise, today I will be talking about women's empowerment. But what are we really talking about when we say the word empowerment? Empowerment is about taking the reins of your life, taking control of it. And the word comes from the Latin, and it literally means the power that comes from within. So it's the process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and also claiming one's rights. This concept was first used in the 60s by the philosopher Paulo Freire from Brazil, and he used it in the education context. And then it was in the 80s when Devaki Jain, an Indian economist, started using women's empowerment more in a feminist context. She created a group of women that were discussing about different topics, and one of them was women's empowerment. So as you see, there are different applications and uses of the concept empowerment. And in order to create a positive change in your life, today we will understand this concept as a way to maximize your potential through activating all your resources, internal and external, and to develop a sense of meaning for your life. To maximize your potential, you need to activate all your resources. When we talk about external resources, it refers to spotting any opportunity you have to keep developing yourself. So this is reading, studying, talking to other women, to other people, in order to never stop learning. Writing is also a great and very interesting tool. When you write your thoughts and feelings on a notepad, you have the opportunity to structure your mind. And then, when you read again, you can have new ideas. So it's a great way to activate your creativity. This is important because the more knowledge that you have, the more you read, the more you study, the more you share with other people, the more employable you will be. And this means that you will have more opportunities that will be awaiting for you in this world. So keep developing your skill set for higher chances of having a successful career and generating opportunities. That was for the external resources. Now, tapping into your internal resources. This is about being the protagonist of your life and putting the focus on what you can control. This idea of focusing on what we can control, it's from Epictetus. He was a Greek philosopher that believed that in order to have a good life, we have to focus on the things we can control. So, what are the things that are in our hands so that we can control? Those are the words that we use, so our language, our actions, our attitude towards life, our opinions. So let's look at what those elements are concretely. So when we talk about language, we mean the way we talk to other people, the way also we talk to ourselves. It's important that you embrace a positive self-talk and that you inspire and encourage others, that you use words of hope, words that are kind with other women and other people that are in need. So together you will be surrounded by a positive and caring and loving atmosphere. The other thing you can control are your actions. So it's important that you measure your actions and that you act in alignment with your goals. Then another very important thing is the attitude that you have towards uncertainty. So for that you need to work on your beliefs and keep your hope alive to develop resilience out of uncertainty. Once all your resources are activated, it's interesting as well to develop a sense of meaning for your life. And this is an idea that comes from Viktor Frankl. You might know him. He was an Austrian psychiatrist and an Holocaust survivor. He wrote a lot of books. One that I recommend is The Man's Search for Meaning. And he also created a therapeutic approach that it's called logotherapy to help people find personal meaning in life. He was helping people that were in traumatic situations or were survivors of war, so then they could develop this sense of meaning for their life and develop resilience. The logotherapy was focused on the future and our ability to endure hardship and suffering through a search for purpose. And with that comes a must skill that I recommend that you work on. And this is storytelling. The story you tell yourself about yourself. So this is about creating a narrative from the events of your life to bring clarity and also help you understand how you became you. And that's a great exercise because you can edit, you can interpret, you can retell your story to make it a redemptive story and potentially change the way you are experimenting life. So it's a very powerful exercise. And another pillar to find meaning is by cultivating belonging, serving to something bigger than yourself. Belonging is about being valued and valuing others. So work on strengthening your bonds, and a great way to do that would be through creating a female support network, and this can be with your family, friends, neighbors, and our local communities as well. It's important to create this sense of belonging in community among women especially, and use this space to share opportunities, to support other women within your possibilities, of course, and also to feel that you're not alone in this. The power of meaning is having something to hold on during turbulent times, even when suffering is omnipresent. So I would love to finish with two actually quotes that are very powerful, or that I found very powerful. One is from Viktor Frankl, so the author that I just told you about, and it says, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." So that's about choosing our attitude, how we want to live what we have to live in life. And another powerful quote is from Malala Yousafzai. So if we want to achieve our goal, then let us empower ourselves with the weapon of knowledge, and let us shield ourselves with the unity and togetherness. So that's a complete invitation to develop your network, to cultivate this sense of belonging for yourself, to be more empowered. Empowerment will help you transform your life. So don't hesitate to start today. Thank you very much, and see you very soon.
That was great, dear Laurenti. That was so nice. Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to listen from a very, very special speaker. She is so good talking about confidence. We really need that. We really need that. Females in Afghanistan, and really famous in all the universe, really need to have confidence. So we invite you to learn and get inspiration from Tulia Lopez. Ladies and gentlemen, here you go, Tulia Lopez.
Good day, Professional Speakers Association Afghanistan. It's my pleasure and honor to be here with you, sharing my view about women in leadership. My name is Tulia Lopez, and I'm a communication architect. What is a communication architect? I help my clients, especially women, to lay the foundations to build a strong communication skills so they can come in any room and deliver their message with confidence and charisma. And today I will be sharing with you what you should be attentive to really boost your leadership skills so you can stand up and speak up and impact the world with your message. Breaking glasses. There is a lot to break. Glasses, barriers, biases, a lot. If you are a professional woman, everywhere you look, there are glasses above your head, around you. The professional world has not been a welcoming one for women, for us. Every single step women made in the professional environment was never filled with roses. Most likely, they were filled with glasses, and the broken glasses they had to break. Some glasses are very real. Some professional environments make clear and sure from the beginning that the space for women's development and growth has been already decided and limited in most cases. These glasses are usually at the top of your head and they are the so-called glass ceilings. The big problem about these glasses is that they are crystal clear. You can see them. In most cases, from the very beginning, in a job interview, or through verbal or nonverbal expressions, cues, or in a conversation with your leaders and peers, or as a gut feeling, or as a combination of all. You have a voice in the back of your mind telling you that your talents and competence will most probably be overlooked, taken for granted, which will most probably lead to demolishing your confidence and placing you to live in a glass house. My question to you will be, why do you consider joining an environment like this in the first place? When you have all the signs that you most probably will be pushed aside or down or both. Ask yourself, am I putting myself into self-isolation? Why am I ignoring these signs? If I might say, with your permission, don't be a martyr and believe that you can change any world. I know that many professionals, me included, proclaim that your voice, your story, your dedication and determination to a specific cause can change the world, but not every world. Be careful with that. You have to learn which fight to choose. Other glasses are almost invisible. That is when you feel stuck. You can't move forward because you have this impression that there is something external stopping you, but you don't know what it is. You might find yourself in a work environment which looks healthy and safe, where everybody collaborates and cooperates, but you don't find a way forward. You feel like there are walls around you. Let me tell you, there are. You're right. It's not your imagination. These are glass walls. They're almost invisible. It requires experience and awareness to be able to see them. They are filled with biases, unconscious bias, performance bias, attribution bias, likability bias, and more. People don't really see them at first, but when you start paying close attention to certain facts and behaviors and how repetitive they are, you will then start seeing those glass walls. A warning note for you here. Glass walls are everywhere. They are part of our lives. And when the glass walls combine with the glass ceilings, lady, run. Run from that environment. It's too much to cope with, too much to break, not worth your time and energy. Trust me. However, as I said before, glass walls are everywhere, not only in the work environment. They have been built throughout centuries. They are part of our long history in a male-dominated world. Men face some glass ceilings and glass walls too, but for us women, they are put around us from the moment we are born for protection by our most loved ones, our parents, then by our teachers, then by our spouses, then by our bosses in our work environment, and also in our own family. Girls have a huge list of don'ts as part of their education, which boys don't have. We all know that. Therefore, the key here, dear woman, the step forward is to find the weapons to break those glasses. Throughout your life, you will need different weapons because different types of glasses will be placed around and above you. And each of them require different tools to be broken. However, in the professional environment, from my own experience, communication, effective, clear, and confident communication is the tool you need to break the great majority of those glasses. Once you know how to express yourself clearly, with confidence, you will be able to set your standards, your boundaries, position yourself accordingly to your competence, and those walls start falling. Like magic. Well, we all know that magic only happens when we make it happen. Therefore, action is always needed. Let's be clear about that. Be assured, only then you will be able to make you stand and develop the self-leadership skills you will need to move forward in your life as the leader you can be, whether professionally or in your personal life. Only then you will be able to set your boundaries, not with glasses, but with the authority and confidence of a true leader. Other glasses are not real. They are women's imagination after being locked out or locked in so many situations for so long that they believe they are real. And trust me, in most cases, these glasses are the ones which pose the real danger because they are self-imposed glasses. They are placed as ceiling, as walls, in all shapes and forms. And lady, they are thick and very damaging. They are difficult to break. Once you decide to start breaking them, they will make deep wounds and big scars. However, trust me on this. You are not going to bleed to death when you start breaking them. On the contrary, you will be healed. You will find your true self. You will release your wings and you fly. I was asked to talk about women in leadership, but I couldn't start talking about it without talking about all the glasses which hinder us women from becoming the great leaders we can be. As I explained before, some glasses are crystal clear, some are almost invisible, others are real, and others are women's own imagination and creation. It's only when women become aware of these glasses, the ones at the top and around them, the ones which are visible, invisible, or unreal, that they will be able to progress forward towards whatever they want to achieve in their lives and take those leading positions they want to take, those leading positions that we all want them to take, and sit at the tables where important decisions are made and have a sound and confident voice and contribution. We have hundreds of examples in history about how some women, despite all the odds, broke the glasses which were obstructing their path. We can use their stories not only to inspire us, but mostly as a proof of when there's the will, there's the way. Look at Angela Merkel, a scientist, probably an introvert, and even though became Germany's first female chancellor, a position she held for 17 years. Merkel has been called the de facto leader, the real leader of the European Union, and the leader of the free world by many news outlets. Forbes named her the most powerful woman in the world in 2018. Look at Junko Tabei, a Japanese woman who broke gender stereotypes as the first woman to climb the Mount Everest summit. Look at Madam C.J. Walker. Sarah was the first child in her family born into freedom. Her parents and siblings were all slaves. She was orphaned at age of 7. She had only 3 months of formal education. And even with all these odds against her, Sarah C.J. Walker became the first female self-made millionaire in the US. She created her own line of hair care products in 1905. No excuses, ladies. No excuses. I could give you here hundreds of examples of women who broke the odds, the glasses, the barriers, the biases, and became amazing leaders in their own right. You might think this is far from your reality, but let me tell you, it's not. You're wrong. Because to move forward, above and beyond, these women had to have a strong belief in nothing else but themselves. And that is the key, ladies. That is the key. Believe in yourself. Nobody can give you what you don't have inside already. Others can help you to unleash your superpower, but they can't give you a superpower. On the same note, nobody can take from you what you have inside. To all women who want to move forward and up in their careers, and in all areas of their lives, including building loving and respectful relationships with their family and friends, who want to be seen and valued for their principles, competence, and skills, in their work environment and beyond, my message to all of you is you already have inside of you everything you need to get where you want to be and become. The only thing you need is to have belief in yourself and then guidance. Your doubts come from systematic direct and indirect messages you have received throughout your whole life telling you that you can't, that you don't, that you shouldn't. Your doubts also come from the collisions against those walls above and around you during your personal and professional development. I, for one, spent a long time during my adolescence and as a young adult asking, why not? Because for most of my inquiries, requests, desires of experimenting, of breaking barriers, I was told, you can't, you wouldn't, you shouldn't. By the ones who love me most, my loving parents, close friends, and others. And all of this, they would say, to protect me. Took me years to be able to break some glasses of protection so I could then tap into my inner power and find my wings. And so then I could fly without fear. To tap into your inner strength and power, you need guidance. We all do. It's almost impossible to unleash your true potential, find your authentic voice, release your wings, build the confidence to take stands and speak up without the support of others, without learning how to do it. So ladies, look for the ones who have done it, who will help you to build your strength, show you the right weapons for the different fights, so you can then start breaking the glasses that come across your path and build the bridges to your true happiness, fulfillment, and success in your career, businesses, and relationships. I know, I see you, I hear you. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Oh, yes, trust me on this. Break the glasses, break the biases, break the barriers, and build strong bridges because you are born to lead.
Thank you, Tulia. That was so nice. That was so good. The next speaker is an executive researcher. She is really good in finding leaders in the LinkedIn. And she is really, really good to explain it, how she can find. And she can give you those knowledge, information, wisdom that you can find in the LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great platform. It's a very powerful platform. So if you're working online, if you're working in maybe in any industry, if you are using internet, connect to the LinkedIn and get use of this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, let's learn more how to be good in this platform from Tina Järvet Pereira.
Hello, my name is Tina and I'm based in Belgium. I am very happy to be talking to you about how to be found by headhunters on LinkedIn. I didn't know much about the executive search industry and about headhunting when I graduated from school. I was born in the Soviet Union, but thanks to my father's work opportunities, we moved to Sweden. And there I got to study at the Stockholm University. And with all the different languages and the different opportunity that the European institutions offer, I wanted to move to Belgium. So I believe that our education is really the key to live a much happier and more fulfilled life. So continuous learning and education, I think this is really what gives us opportunities. And today I wanted to share with you my experience from the executive search industry. And I will give you 3 tips how to optimize your profile, how to get ahead in your own career. And I think the best career insurance that you can have is having a LinkedIn profile that is optimized. So going back to where I started with headhunting, it really is a different kind of industry that I thought was so secretive. I didn't know what was going on, and it's exactly the opposite what we normally do when we apply for a job. We send a CV to a company and then we go on interviews. With executive search, it's the opposite. It's the companies who look for top talent, and then they reach out to candidates and ask them to come to interviews to work for the company. So it's almost like having a recommendation, like a warm seat to be interviewed by the company. And the way we find candidates is through LinkedIn. In the last projects that I have worked with here in Belgium, the candidates have come from all different places from the world, from Malaysia, from Africa, from Turkey, because currently there is a war on talent. In the previous years, it used to be the companies who were choosing and picking which candidates they would hire. Now the tables have turned. Now it's the candidates market. Because at the end of the day, candidates are the ones who choose to sign the job contract or not, or to go to your competition. So therefore, it's so important that companies reach out in a more personalized way. And the way to be found is to have your profile optimized. I will show you 2 different pictures so you can choose which one would you hire, the profile on the left or the profile on the right. As you can see, the first impression that we get, that comes within, they say, the first 7 seconds. If you see somebody with a LinkedIn profile, with a profile picture, it really builds trust, and you see it's more authentic profile. And a good profile picture, in my opinion, is something where you see the head and the shoulders, and where you have a neutral background without any other people from your mates or your family members. It's just you in the picture with a neutral background, not from holidays, but somewhere where you can look into the camera and have a smile. And I'm talking about smiling with your eyes, where you have the wrinkles in around your eyes. That's authentic smile. And also that you're dressed in a way that you would go to a client meeting. And it's also important that it's a recent photo and not a passport photograph, but really in a way that when you would come to a Zoom meeting, that you would be recognizable. So have an updated profile photo, and also fill in the information about your past work experience and your study background, it's so important to come with a profile that you have filled in. I did a research on LinkedIn just by the keyword Afghanistan, and I got 264,000 hits. So the word Afghanistan can be in your location, it can be in your past work experience that you have worked in Kabul, or anywhere else in your profile. So having the right word, right keyword, it will put you on top of the search list. It's like Google, but for careers. So you don't want to be on the 20th page of results of Google, and you don't want to be on the 20th page for the recruiters as well. You want to be on one of the first pages. How to do that is by filling in the information open to work. And out of those 264,000, there were 21,000 profiles which in Afghanistan that had the keyword or the open to work filled in. So that's one of the secret sources how to put you on top of the list so that you will be found. The second tip that I would give you is to fill in the skills, the really relevant ones that you want to be found for, the really niche specific ones that respond to the skills and competencies that you have, that other people who don't work in the same industry that they don't have. Because just one keyword in Malaysia could guarantee you a job in Belgium. And it could also be remote work. It doesn't have to be that you have to relocate to another country if you don't want to. Nowadays, with the help of internet, there are so many job opportunities that you can do remotely, that those opportunities will open to you through LinkedIn if you fill in the right keywords. And the way how to build your skills is through continuous learning, and LinkedIn offers you different courses that they are all for free. You can do them online at the pace that you can follow. So it can be either content marketing, digital marketing, project management, all different type of competencies that you can add to your own LinkedIn profile, that you can learn, and you don't have to pay for it, and it's available to everyone. And the third tip that I would like to give you is to build your network, to connect with other people on LinkedIn, because it is a social networking platform, and you never know which conversation may open up a different opportunity to you. How you can be found is really by talking to other people, and it's not Facebook. We are not called friends on LinkedIn, it's connections. So you don't have to be friends, but it's not impossible to become friends. So reach out to those connections with your previous colleagues from your study background, alumni organization, your previous work colleagues, and connect with people who have the same interests as you. This is really how the LinkedIn magic works. So coming from Soviet Union, growing up in Sweden, and now living in Belgium, I'm very interested to connect with international women all over the world and build a network, because together we grow by lifting up others. So building this network will help you, and you don't know who in your network would need a helping hand. So to go back to those 3 tips that we mentioned. Fill in your LinkedIn profile. Make sure it's an all-star, that you have your profile photo and you also fill in your education background, your study background, because the first impression that you make in the 7 seconds, it's so important to stand out from the different profiles on LinkedIn. The second one is to fill in that you're open to work and signalize to recruiters and headhunters which kind of jobs you're open to. If it's remote work, if it's hybrid work, if it's part-time work, which kind of locations in the world, which kind of job titles, and if you're actively looking. Remember that you have the free resources on LinkedIn that's called LinkedIn Learning, where you can upgrade your skills and knowledge in the fields that are important to you. Just look up LinkedIn Learning and the keyword that you're looking for. In different industries, there are so many different courses that you can take. So take advantage of that. And most importantly, let us build this global community where women are helping other women with different resources and with our knowledge, and also encouraging the future generations to come to be active and have an impact in the society, because we are all part of the society and every voice needs to be heard. So I want to thank you everyone who came here, and it shows that you are interested to be part of this network and also to connect with other people and also to learn and share with other people. So the last words that I would like to tell you is that the best investment that you can do is in yourself. If you invest in yourself and your education and continuous learning, the companies are more eager to invest and hire you, because they know or they see that you are making the investment in yourself. So start with yourself, and then new opportunities and new doors will open for you. Thank you.
That was so good, Tina. That was so nice. Thank you so much for that. The next speaker is a global TEDx speaker. She is a climate change expert. She is having over 22 international awards, and she is so good in how we can use our resources for a greener future, for a better life in the future. We need that. We really need that, especially in Afghanistan, that we have so much good resources. Some of them are even untouched. We need to listen and learn how we can use them for a better future. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to the Loriane Youngs.
Greetings from South Africa. Hello, Afghanistan. What a pleasure to be talking to you from the southernmost tip of the African continent. Thank you for the invitation, Tariq, and I hope this is the beginning of a long and rewarding relationship between my work and my Professional Speakers Association. Today we're talking about women in leadership. some of the challenges that we have had to face, how I got around mine. I want to show you that you must do what you want to do anytime. I started what I do at the age of 69. I am now 79, and I have never had more fun, traveled more, and been more satisfied to wake up every morning to do something I really want to do. And to tell you that the future is going to be in some of these topics. There is an enormous demand for some of these skills. So I'm going to run through some career options at the very end to give you, spark some ideas of a field that you could get into if you care about the environment, which I'm sure women all do. If women ruled the world, we would not have climate change. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Climate change and sustainability, my story and your future. Women Global Leadership Summit. The news we get is absolutely awful. Mudslides in Brazil, storm in England, wildfire in North America, drought in Kenya, snowstorm in Canada, flood in South Africa. Last week, the worst flood in history in my country because of climate change and simply bad maintenance by government. Locusts in our semi-arid area, climate refugees from Madagascar starving because of the drought on their island, drought in Afghanistan, water shortages in Afghanistan, 40 degrees above normal, the normal average temperature in the Arctic. Last month it was 40 degrees above its normal. This really put some scientists almost into a panic. The highest CO2 in the atmosphere ever in history, worldwide, and deforestation. 2 acres of forest get destroyed every second. 2 acres. It has to stop. War in Ukraine. Actually, if you really look into it, that war is about fossil fuels. If the temperature ever reaches 59 degrees, we will not survive on the planet. This happens to be Death Valley, where they're used to these extreme temperatures, but we cannot tolerate them elsewhere. This is 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is what we're leaving our children. You're telling me you didn't know, they're going to say? Why didn't you do something? So what I do, I am a TEDx global speaker. I mean, none of this was ever planned. This is what is so absolutely incredible about my story. It all just came to me. I build exhibitions where I furnish entire hotels or homes on 100 square meter stands with only eco-friendly products. And then I consult anywhere, hotels, offices, hospitals, people's homes, anywhere. I have 2 online directories. They are not selling portals. They are like the yellow pages. We list products. Hotel Stuff lists all the people I used to deal with when I worked in the hotel industry. And I already knew who had a green product, and I pulled those products across onto the Green Stuff website, which backs onto Hotel Stuff. Simply portals to introduce, like a register, to introduce buyers to suppliers. 21 years old, they were the first in the world. I think sometimes that's still the only 2 in the world. And are used now, I mean, never planned as well, by 33,000 people every single month. So think of starting one of these in your area. I'm sure there's a need for it. In my story, I started living on a very, very ordinary South African farm. We farmed everything: maize, cattle, dairy, sheep, pigs, peaches, sunflowers, chickens, everything. We didn't have running water and electricity, and we had never seen plastic. This is how I learned where things come from, and that is the problem today. People don't know where things come from. After I finished my studies, I took a gap year and I went to London, 1965. Then I went to Canada, and then I ended up in California in 1969 in the middle of the hippie era. I got a job with a brand new environmental protection agency This was the foundation of my greening journey. We protested, boy did we protest, against Vietnam, against civil rights, against the environment, you name it, and we protested. We invented protesting. Kids today think they did. And of course we grew wonderful organic herbs. Enough said. Then I came back home with all this knowledge, and I don't know how, I'm a teacher by profession. Somehow I ended up being the procurement manager for 82 hotels, managing the entire procurement manual. I did the contracts for everything. Every single thing you use in a hotel, I did the contracts for 15 very, very long years. And I tried to get them to go green. So I made it my mission. They weren't interested. I made it my, this long ago though, it's nearly 30 years ago. I made it my mission to find the greenest version, a greener version of every single product used in a hotel. Our first big development that was green, that wasn't a hotel, was the Sandton International Convention Center. And I installed in my own time a recycling program with the help of a young man who was out of work. And he collected dry waste every morning from the hotels around that center and put them on a conveyor belt, and he pulled people off the street every morning to sort the waste. And both these ladies ended up managing huge, big warehouses, compacting bottles and paper. Wonderful success. I saved them 75,000 South African rand a month. I reduced waste by 80%, took photographs, graphs, interviewed people, sent my report upstairs. And nobody took a blind bit of notice. I think I was just ahead of the times, because when you're short, and I used to be blonde, and you're middle-aged, I'm sure it's still the same, you might as well have a paper bag over your head. So I left. I left in a huff, and that huff, after 15 years of frustration, gives me the energy I've got today at my age to wake up every morning and be ready to go. That is the energy, the source of my energy. But I had left now, and I'd moved to Cape Town, and the hotel started calling me back and saying, "What are you talking about?" And I said, I've been telling you for 15 years, and I would lecture because I'm a teacher. And then I thought, something? These are hoteliers. They are not engineers or scientists. They need to see, touch, and feel what I'm talking about, going green in a hotel. So in a moment of, if I think about it, complete madness. My bookkeeper and I booked 100 square meters at the big hotel show in Cape Town. And we asked people from the two directories to send us products to display, only the ones that had eco-friendly products, not to sell, to display as an educational exercise. So a little bit, we had 1 or 2 products from every category in that purchasing manual. Using the website, obviously mostly green stuff. And it was such a success that the other big shows invited us. Even Grand Designs, BBC Lifestyle asked us to do projects for them way, way ahead of the time. These are what some of them looked like. That was a hotel. That was just a bedroom. This was a whole home. It was huge, big 5 bedrooms. And this was a little tiny house. Only no plastic anywhere except for 1 or 2 recycled containers in the kitchen. No polyester anywhere, no polyester bedding. All the bedding and the stuffing and the fillings were natural. Kitchen, energy efficient appliances, certified wooden floor, gas stove, VOC-free paint, organic coffee, recycled tabletops, everything green. Outside we had some renewables, models of renewables, so the daddies also had something to look at. They weren't particularly interested inside, and we had a model of a new hybrid car around the back, all done for nothing in our spare time, nobody supporting us at all, some of it out of my pension. Then I found out, then I was invited to be a speaker. I didn't even know there was such a thing, because I was a teacher. I thought people just got up and taught. And now I find myself teaching all over the world. Speaking. And what a joy, what a joy. I do a lot of consulting. This hotel, I think, is one of the greenest in the whole world in Cape Town. They've even got outside here wind turbines. They've got geothermal, photovoltaic, natural pool, everything. If you're ever here in Cape Town, in South Africa, ask for a tour, and ask to be taken underground into the basement where all the equipment is. I became a judge for the greenest hotels in southern Africa. And what we did, I won't go through this, this is a whole workshop, but please phone me if you're interested. It's really interesting, and it almost becomes addictive. We do walkabout. We walk in the front door, right through every room, out the back door, and step back in each room and say, now listen, nothing's 100% green, nothing's perfect, nothing's terrible, and you're not delinquent. Next time, you need to recarpet or buy new appliance or paint, whatever, get new uniforms. There might be a better way. Just check with us or go and Google. And look at this. From the age of 69 to the age of 79, 22 awards. I mean, it makes me laugh, actually, because sometimes I think it's because I'm the only person who does what I do. Look at that. What a joy. And what a surprise. Well, everyone was such a surprise. So why do I do it? Why should you do it? What keeps you up at night? What frightens you the most? All these things? Hunger, deforestation worries me. Water shortages terrify me. And, of course, climate change. So climate change, the eco side, are the two that I really focus on. So what is climate change? This is a 2-day workshop. I won't go into all the detail now, but I mean, I'm sure you understand that the sun heats up the planet, we take what we need, and the rest bounces out again. What's happening with all the carbon dioxide? It's creating a blanket around the planet, and that heat can't bounce out. So it's making the planet warmer and warmer every day. The causes are building, agriculture, transport, burning fossil fuels, cattle farming, and deforestation are the major causes, and the impacts we've already seen at the beginning of my talk. That at the bottom right, by the way, are insects are moving. That's called the botfly from Zimbabwe. We never got them in South Africa. We get them here now. They lay their eggs under your skin. So what is ecocide? Ecocide is capitalism. Growth for the sake of growth is like a cancer cell. We will need 5 planets if we want to live like the Americans, and these are all the horrible effects on biodiversity, on animals, nature, and human beings, because eco means life and side means to kill, ecocide. Hype and jargon. Don't be put off by all the jargon. It's driving me crazy. We used to call it going green and sustainability, regenerative systems. Circular economy is the big hype word trending at the moment. Zero carbon, even more so. I'm running a workshop on that just now, just to explain that basically all the same thing with slight differences. And it's important to know the difference. So why all this urgency? What we do is we measure temperatures. Our benchmark is what the temperatures were 150 years ago at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution when we started burning coal. So that is the temperature we base everything on. If it increases by more than 1.5 degrees, we're in trouble. If it increases by more than 2, we might not make it. Humans will not survive. Of course, the planet will survive, but we might not. And the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Discussion sent out a report recently. We have to reduce our emissions by half by 2030 and 0 emissions by 2050. Some companies are trying, some are not even interested. This is where you can get wonderful work and become an advisor or an auditor for companies that need help. It's really quite easy once you understand what they're looking for. So to share with you some unexpected adventures I've had in this field, which you can have too, which is why I want you to think about going into this field. Never expected these. I mean, I've traveled all over the place. I've spoken all over Africa and Europe and places like that. But I mean, just in the last couple of months, out of the blue, I was invited by the United Nations to attend COP26. Look at these venues. Look at that. It was amazing. And outside were 100,000 protesters. And I have to tell you a little secret. They were a little bit more interesting than some of the blah, blah, blah that was going on inside. But we did achieve some of the goals. There were too many white men in suits and not nearly enough indigenous people, who are the people who really understand how to look after the environment. And just as a little aside, this was a plenary, a panel discussion that I was invited to. I sat down, I was sopping wet and chewing on a hamburger. I was so hungry. And a man walked up in a beautiful suit and very nice shoes. And he sat next to me, and his hair was so dirty that I took a photograph of it. And we started talking, and he teased me about being so wet and how being so hungry, and we chatted and we laughed. And then he was asked, it was his turn to get up and speak, and he was the King of the Netherlands, sitting right next to me. I had no idea. What a maverick, what a wonderful man. And gee, boy, does he know his stuff. What a pleasure. These, I'm afraid to say, are some of our leaders. A lot of the talking happened in the corridors, which is nearly always the case, and not in the big meeting rooms. Then I got an invitation a week ago, 10 days ago, to Azerbaijan. I mean, of all places, I was invited to Azerbaijan. They flew me in. We had the most amazing conference on supply chain, sustainable supply chain. And these hosts were so sweet. They took me on a tour of their beautiful city and out to dinner to taste their indigenous foods. So talking about indigenous foods, please join Slow Food in your area. Every major city has a branch. They are doing amazing work to protect heritage and indigenous foods. We had a festival in Italy every 2 years. We were sent to China. They had 1 million visitors at the Italian show where people display their heritage foods. This was in Mongolia. They are way, way ahead in organic farming. And then we have events where we present organic versus industrial foods. And the careers I was talking about, I'm going to go through this quickly because it's quite a lot. Look at the World Wildlife Fund, look at their website, and look at some of these ideas, things you very probably haven't thought of. Obviously, conservation. Get into conservation. If you want to do good and leave a legacy for your children and make their future safer. Forestry. Get into forestry. Deforestation. Planting trees. Water. Water to use for agriculture and for drinking, but also for energy. Oceans, and the oceans are rising several feet. Will rise several feet by the end of the century. They will definitely drown out many islands and places like Miami and parts of New York. Anybody near the coast, sell your property. Farming and food, huge changes. Farming must be turned on its head, and we must go for organic regenerative farming and stop poisoning the soil and the water and the workers. Cities, lots of work to be done. No more smooth surfaces, cement surfaces and brickwork. Water needs to be able to seep through into the soil below, and we need to learn how to build up barriers against the sea and rivers. Waste is a big one. Lots of work to be done there. And energy is massive. If you're interested in that sort of thing and engineering, go into energy, renewable energy, wonderful work being done. And how to make better choices. This is what I actually do and what I specialize in: supply chain management, sustainable supply chain. Do a course. You will be so busy, and it's fascinating work. So what you will do is every single product you'll go through its entire life cycle, from when it was taken out of the ground and processed until it's sold. So you'll do the energy, you'll study the water and the waste, every step of its journey and everything else. And recycling is a complete waste of time. It's a hoax. Only 3% ever gets recycled. It's the oil industry. We've got to actually turn off the tap. So the life cycle assessment and supply chain, just do a course. Go do it. You can do it in 2 or 3 months. And what you do is you look, where does something come from? How was it transported? How was it manufactured? How was it distributed and packaged? And what happens when you use it? What is its end of life? And can it be recycled? And how I explain that, I tell people to imagine they're holding the hand of a little child, and he wants to know where the cell phone comes from. And this is a whole workshop all in one page here. I just want to run through it. You will explain to him where the metals were extracted by children in rivers in the Congo. The whole way through, everything that happened to make that cell phone that you now own. And he's going to see where things end up. And he's going to say, gosh, Dad, you knew where it was going to end up and you bought it anyway. All of this will go towards the new big thing is ESG, environment, social, governance. Companies are ordered now to start meeting some of the standards, and they will not get investors until they start taking especially environment into consideration for everything that they do. wonderful career opportunity. So what must they do? They are politicians and industry. They must increase carbon tax, perfect renewable energy, start regenerative agriculture, and meet net zero. Those are the major things they have to do. And what must we do? Less flying, less meat, refuse plastic point blank. There are other things. My granny never had plastic, and she ran a whole farm. And we used to drive things across country that she gave us for 12 hours without anything going rotten. Sign petitions and boycott, boycott, boycott. It really works. And vote. And the very best advice I'm going to give you today is speak to the old folks. They know stuff. Ask them what foods they can't find, what crops, what vegetables, what fruits they can't find. Source them and start cultivating them again, because those are the foods that will survive climate change. Maize and wheat that we've got by the acres here in Africa will not survive. And ask them what the worst weather is they can remember and plan for that. Better to be safe than sorry. And then remember, the children are watching you. It's up to you. We can choose the future we want. We don't have to accept the future that's coming out. We can choose it and demand it. The children are watching you and they're going to say, Mom, Dad, you knew. You knew. What did you do? Thank you, everybody. Please email me at greenstuff.co.za or hotelstuff.co.za and let me run workshops on any of the aspects of the talk I've done today. We can do them obviously remotely, or I can fly in or drive in or take a train and come and meet you in person and run either a full day workshop or even a 20-minute workshop as this one is supposed to be. So thank you again, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you, and I do hope that you have gained something from my talk today. Bye-bye from me, Lorraine Jenks. Ciao.
Thank you, dear Loriane. That was so nice. Thank you so much for your speech. It's ending of part 3. In this part, we have so many top shelf wisdom to use. And thank you so much. Thank you for putting your time. Thank you for booking the next part. Part 4 is coming up next week. Thank you so much. Till next week. Tariq Muhammadi.